Good afternoon, Year 4, and welcome to back to the fifth lesson in outdoor learning this half term. Whilst I am sharing my screen, I'd like you just to have a quick think about what you were learning about last lesson. I have to say, whilst you're doing that, I very much enjoyed looking at your work this week. Okay. So far we've looked at camouflage and we've looked at patterns in nature, and today what we're going to do is we're going to put the two together. So hopefully you remember that last week we were looking for letters and numbers in nature. As you can remember, this says Year 4. Mainly out of twigs and branches and leaves, and I really enjoyed some of your photos and pictures that you put up on Seesaw last week of you going round and looking for letters and numbers in nature. So today we're going to be focusing on lizards, all right? And lizards camouflage themselves often by choosing rocks that best match the colour of their backs. Those are the lizards that live on the ground and often bathe on rocks. There are those that live in trees, and therefore their skin is camouflaged to look like tree bark. There's a lizard that mainly spends time on the ground, so it's camouflaging itself to look like the ground there. I wonder if you remember this one right from the very beginning of the term, a leaf-tailed gecko. I don't think I could even see that was a type of lizard in there, but there it is. And the other one that you might be familiar with is the chameleon. And initially it was thought that the chameleon changed colour in order to camouflage to its surroundings. And they think that that's maybe one reason why a chameleon changes colour. But they also think chameleons change colour to help them regulate their temperature, and also to help them to communicate with other chameleons. So there's quite a big debate about why chameleons change their colour. But as you can see here, this chameleon is very nicely camouflaged in a browny pink and green plant. As you can see, these are some lizard skin patterns. It's not just one block colour. So, for example, if there is a tree lizard, so a lizard that lives in the tree, it isn't just plain brown. It is always patterned. And this really helps them to camouflage, because I think all of our observations the last couple of weeks looking at nature and the colours and patterns in nature, things just aren't just one colour. All right, there's lots and lots of different shades, lots and lots of different patterns, and that's exactly the same for lizards that are trying to camouflage within that natural habitat. So this is going to be your activity today. You are going to draw or print out a lizard outline, and you need to decide what type of lizard your lizard is going to be. Is it going to be a tree lizard that lives in the tree, a stone lizard that sunbathes on the stones, a ground lizard that spends most of its time on the ground, a leaf lizard that tries to camouflage itself within leaves? And then I've got two that we probably do not exist in nature. We've got a sofa lizard and a table lizard. So if you can get outside with an adult and have a look very carefully at a tree, the stone, a ground, or a leaf, then you can really have a go at doing a lizard that will camouflage in nature. If you can't get outside, you might want to camouflage your lizard on the sofa, on the table, on your floor at home, on a rug, or somewhere else. So you can either have a look at some things in nature outside, or you can have a look at camouflaging your lizard inside. And you need to design the lizard print by looking carefully at where your lizard's habitat is. So if your lizard's habitat is on the sofa, you need to look really carefully at the patterns on your sofa to see what patterns you can use to design your lizard. If your lizard is camouflaged on some bark of a tree, you need to look really carefully at the bark of the tree. And the final bit is to colour in the lizard. So here are a couple of lizard outlines. There's one that's a bird's eye view and one that's a side view. So you can copy these outlines here. And I'm also just going to show you quickly what I did. So I actually drew out my lizard and cut it out before I started, and I'm going to show you that now. So my first step was to ensure that I either drew or printed out an outline of my lizard. There will be some outlines for you on the worksheet if you would like to use those. The second thing I did was I wanted to have a think about where I would like my lizard to live. I decided that I would like it to live amongst these leaves. I had a plant this morning where some leaves fell off, so I thought that I would use that. The next thing I'm going to do is I am going to draw my pattern onto my lizard. Now, I wonder if you can remember what type of pattern this is that we see a lot in nature. Well done, those people that recognised it as the branching pattern. Fantastic. Okay, now I'm just drawing it in pen so that you can all see really clearly. But if I were you, I would do my outline in pencil because that will enable you to colour in much easier. So I'm just going to leave it there for now. And then I am going to actually use paints today to add some colour to my lizard. I don't know if you can see, but my leaves have this very interesting red vein colour. So I am going to do the veins in red. And what I'm going to do, if you look very carefully at the skin of the lizard, because it's very dry and scaly, it looks like a series of dots. So I am going to, because I'm using paint, I'm able to do some dots here. So I'm going to dot all along my veiny pattern, my branching pattern, like this. You can use colouring pens, you can use colouring pencils, you can use paints, whatever you would like to do your lizard design with. I'm just going to finish there just so that we've got enough time. And then obviously I'm going to use a couple of series of greens and maybe some browns as well. So I'm going to start off with quite a dark green. Lizards are never just one block colour. There's always a lot of different colours going on the lizard's skin. So again, using my dots, I'm going to do some green dots around here. And you can see I'm starting to build up my lizard pattern. Okay, I think I'm going to need some darker colours as well. And when I finished, my lizard should be basically a little bit camouflaged against my leaves. So I'm got some black here. I'm gonna add that here so we can make it a little bit darker. And my leaves are different coloured greens as well, so you might want to use different shades of the same colour. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. But as you can see, if I did my entire lizard with those greens and browns and reds, my lizard will begin to be camouflaged against my leaves. So it would be great if you, at the end, could take a photo of your lizard camouflaged against the habitat that you want it to be in. Fantastic, Year 4. Enjoy designing your lizard. I am very much looking forward to seeing it uploaded on Seesaw, and I will see you next week. Bye!